Hello students, New English High School and Junior College. Managed by our esteemed CEO Mr. Prakash Gurnani Sir and our Principal Mrs. Jyoti Gurnani Madam have taken this initiative of providing online lectures for all students of 12th Science, Arts and Commerce departments, as we are all fighting with the ongoing pandemic. We hope all of you will be benefited by this. Myself, Mrs. Subarna Basu from Department of English, will be taking up your prose part, chapter 1.2. The title of the lesson is On Saying Please by Alfred George Gardiner. Before we start the lesson, let's know about the author of this lesson. He is Alfred George Gardiner. He was born at Chelmsford, Essex, that is a city in England, in the year 1865. He started his career as a journalist. He was made the editor of the Daily News at the age of 37 years. He raised the question of morality in everyday life. By morality, we mean the sense of right and wrong in society. His pen name was Alpha of the Plough. His essays were always uniformly elegant, very graceful and humorous. He teaches us the basic truths of life in easy and amusing manner. Amusing means full of fun. His contributions were mainly for the newspapers, the Daily News, the Manchester Evening News. Some of his best writings are The Pillars of the Society, Pebbles on the Shore, Many Furrows and Leaves in the Wind. The title of the lesson is On Saying Please. Why such a title? Because the author wants to say what happens when you use such words like please and all. Basically, in this lesson, the author wants to point out the value of courtesy in daily life. What does courtesy mean? Courtesy means showing our best manners, being humble, talking softly. Now, for all these, there are some words which we use in daily life while dealing with people in society. In our icebreaker today, let's see what are these words.
Words of courtesy. Thank you. Pardon. Welcome. Bless you. May I? Excuse me. Please. Sorry.
We begin with the theme of the lesson. In On Saying Please, author points out the value of good manners in social life. He emphasizes means putting stress upon the importance of courtesy and politeness in daily behavior. He shows how polite speech and manner sweeten the atmosphere around, and how discourtesy and ill manners spoil or pollute it. We know everyone loves a person who is courteous and humble and dislikes a person with rude behavior. One who is good mannered will always get respect and cooperation from people around. In this lesson, the author takes up two stories to explain the importance of right or wrong behavior in society. In these two stories, we will see two people with opposite characters. The first story is the story of a liftman and the second is that of a bus conductor. The story that we will take up in today's lecture is the story of a liftman. Let's begin with the summary of the story of a liftman. There was a liftman in a city office. A liftman is a person whom you can see in big buildings, offices or hospitals, whose duty is to carry the passengers to their respective floors as per instruction. One day, a person entered the lift of this liftman and told him to take him upstairs. To which the liftman demanded a please from the person. Means he told the person that he should say this with a please. But the liftman was adamant on this. The man denied. He didn't say please. And both of them had a heated argument on this. The liftman became very angry and pushed him outside the lift. The liftman was fined and punished for this, as he has physically hurt the person. But the passenger didn't get any punishment for not saying please, as our law says we are not binded by it to say any please, sorry or thanks to anybody. But if we physically hurt anybody, that is a punishable offense. The author wants to say, if the liftman wouldn't have used physical abuse and continued to be polite, maybe it would have affected the man's behavior and his approach to the liftman. By showing our humbleness, we gain more, says the author. When the liftman didn't get a please from the person, he felt insulted. His self-respect was hurt. And one thing that is to be noted is the physical pain heals after some time, but an injury or an wound on self-respect becomes an wound for life and creates a deep scar. Further, an insult or bad behavior creates a chain of such bad behavior, because when a person feels insulted, irritated or frustrated, he is likely to throw his anger or frustration on someone. Suppose we take up an example of this Captain Absolute, who scolds his son. His son, who was unable to answer back his father, passed his frustration on his servant. His servant, again unable to tell anything to the master, passed his anger on a small boy. Now we can see how a chain of bad behavior is created, spreading negativity all around. If I say bad manners have been the reason of so many crimes in the society, it will not be false. After going through the entire story, let's do an introspection. Introspection is a detailed study of the facts of the lesson. What are the reasons that we usually carry over our anger for a long time. Why don't we just forget it? Why don't we forget the small matters and just keep on thinking about it? Let's take up the case of the liftman. Suppose if the liftman did not speak out to the person, what would have happened? He would keep on thinking about the incident, that he was insulted and he could not reply back. So maybe he would go back home with that anger in his mind, and he would throw the anger and insult his wife to balance his anger. Being very upset with this behavior, his wife would have behaved badly with the other family members, and this would continue. Coming to the case of the man who did not say please. Why? There are some kind of people who don't have respect for the people doing small or supporting jobs. But we don't know, is this person of that kind, or on that day his mood was just not good. Maybe he was scolded by his boss and he was upset. Maybe the boss himself was irritated due to his wife's behavior, so he scolded the person. So you see, children, how our moods and behavior affects so many people in a chain. It's like an infection. We infect the world with the bad manners, and then the infection spreads. So what shall we do? What is the solution? We have to be our own police for our manners and control ourselves, since law does not have a punishment for all these reasons or ill manners or anything. What is law? Law is nothing but a rule book which we follow for a healthy society. But we human beings must know the difference between right and wrong. In short, to appreciate, to respect others, to acknowledge a service should be our prime qualities. Bad behavior is such a wound. If it is not healed on time or not treated properly, it creates a series of bad behavior. For example, a woman at home, if she receives bad behavior or ill treatment, probably it will be worst to the society, as she may pass on this to her children, spoiling an entire future generation. So, an eye for an eye is not always right. Our good behavior may change the people we are dealing with, because it creates a change in mind. Sometimes they feel ashamed of their bad behavior. Children, we have our peons in college who always help us. Think over. Do you say thanks to them or behave politely with them? Next time, whenever you get any help, say thanks and show respect to them. We should always be thankful for the service we receive, no matter the person is doing what type of job. Whom will you love to remember, children? A person who insulted you or a person who behaved nicely with you? Of course, a well-behaved person. So be one of them who is well-behaved, courteous, and humble. So, what did we learn from today's story? Good manners are key to be successful in life. Bad manners are not a legal offense, but they create a bad air and spread negativity. Both good and bad manners are infectious. They create a chain of reactions. Let's see the glossary of this part of the lesson. Glossary is a note of the difficult words with their meanings. So first, discourtesy, which means lack of courtesy or being rude, rudeness. Assault and battery, an attack which includes not only threats but also actual use of violence. Retaliate, do something bad to someone who has done something bad to you. Assailant, an attacker. Legislate, make a law or laws. Violence, action or feeling that causes damage or unrest. To box, fight with fists or closed hands. Haughty, having a high opinion of oneself and a low opinion of others. Boorish, rude or uncultured. Laceration here means a cut or a tear. Redress, to set anything right. Vanity means pride. Brooding over means thinking anxiously or sadly about something. Equilibrium, maintain balance. Bullied means threatened. Insolent is very rude. Calendar here means a calendar of causes arranged for trial in a court. Henpecked, nagging by wife or being irritated by wife. Black eye, an insult or dishonor. Endorse means support. Morose is unhappy, and verdict means judgment. In our brainstorming today, we have some words, rather some qualities which makes us a better person. Let's know what are these qualities. Humility. Humility is the quality of being polite or humble. Next is self-esteem. Self-esteem is the knowledge of our own ability or to value our own self-worth. Third, gratitude. Gratitude is the feeling of thankfulness, the feeling of readiness to appreciate if someone has helped us. Courtesy, the showing of politeness in one's attitude and behavior towards others is called courtesy. Next is generosity. Generosity is being liberal in giving without expecting anything in return. The quality of being kind is called generosity. Sympathy. Sympathy is feeling of pity and sorrow for someone else's misfortune. Empathy. Empathy is understanding others' feeling and emotions. In our brainstorming today, we will learn about soft skills. Children, this is something new. Soft skills. These are some of the qualities which we require in every area of life, mostly in our job places. In every job, we require some interaction with others, whether colleagues, some customers, or bosses. Soft skills help us to deal with all these people. Soft skills are related to our attitudes and personality. It has nothing to deal with qualification. So let's see today which are the soft skills we have today in our lesson. The first is communication. Communication always helps us to connect better with another person. Able communicators means those who are very good in communication. They can adjust their tone and style according to their audience. One of the best part of communication is good listening. To become a good speaker, we should always be a good listener. Next soft skill is responsibility. Responsibility is about trustworthiness. Means you are given a responsibility if you are found trustworthy of doing that job. Third, problem solving capacity. This also everybody doesn't have. For this we require a cool and level head and to approach a problem with patience. We have to think about the solution more than the problem. Fourth, flexibility or adaptability. It is about willingness to take up new tasks and challenges and keeping ourselves flexible for that. Next, interpersonal relations. That is a very important part. How we deal with others at workplace is very important. It is about the acquaintances whom we deal with, our rapport, how we make with them. Last but not the least is our work ethics. Work ethics means forming good habits such as being a hard worker, being committed, being diligent, to stay motivated or to stay focused at work. Thank you, children. My next lecture will be based on the story of a bus conductor from the lesson on saying please.